Hello everyone, I'm Nick from nextstepnick.com and this is Bastide. Bastide? I hope I'm saying that right. I made my own village. It was Nicopolis. It didn't go as well as planned and I think everyone died. But I'm not going to lie, really pleasantly surprised with this. At first glance you might look and think, yeah, the graphics aren't great. It might be something that, needs a bit of work. And I think that's kind of true. I think that's pretty fair criticism. I think the game does definitely need work. That being said, got a really fun gameplay mechanic, got some really fun loops in here, really similar to games like, a really good example I would probably say is Banished. So you're making your village, you're basically choosing what your villagers do in regard to their professions, building up huts and things around them like farming and hunting and just all of those kind of resources. It's very much a resource heavy game where you're making sure that your villagers have the clothes they need, the tools they need, they've got the warmth, the food that they need before they have any problems, making sure that they're kind of healthy and happy and they've got kind of the ability to sustain themselves before you slowly but surely start to increase the population. So you can do that by buying more houses and getting people in there. And I really had a blast with it. First thing I thought was, yeah, I don't know if this is as pretty as it could be, and I think we're all guilty of that. We go into a game and immediately think we kind of expect a certain thing from the graphics, but honestly, I got really into it, really enjoyed it. I really like the elements. I think that's the thing about the game itself, is the core gameplay mechanics and elements are fun. It's generally really enjoyable to play, and that's what kept me playing. It kept me invested, and I started to really enjoy like these moments where the sun is rising and you get these really beautiful shadows. There's some moments where it looks wonderful. It still needs work. I mean, even in the graphics menu, for some reason, there's all these images of cars. Everything is illustrated with a car, and I know that's probably because it comes as stock when it comes to utilising this software to make a game. I don't know that for sure, but I'm assuming what that is. And so a little message for the developer here, you've got something really great, but I'd go through and I would change these things and make sure you really polish this game up to keep up with the kind of competition, like with things like Banished. I mean, like I said, I did come back. I made a second village after my first one failed, really threw myself in and got really caught up in those mechanics, really enjoyed it. The one thing I would say is it is incredibly harsh. So be prepared that your village will fail, your people will die. I had a plague that basically ravaged everyone, which, well, I never claimed to be a good mayor or anything. Likewise, there were a few little gameplay issues in regard to bugs with characters getting stuck in things. It's not a game breaker, but it just, it kind of pulls you out of the immersion when you've got 7 or 8 sheep all stuffed into one tiny space when there's this huge open paddock. Likewise, I think that there are quite a few elements that could be improved. I think the gathering itself, yeah, it goes very slowly, and I understand the reason for that, especially at the early stages, but it looks like you always start in this same area. I don't know if that's true or not, but I've started a few games and I always seem to start in this same kind of area at the moment. I think a bit of randomization would be great here. If you could start in a few different areas, kind of make sure that you're in a place that suits you, especially for the early game. But I'm not going to lie, when the village gets kind of busy and you've got people going about and doing their tasks, really satisfying. I was not expecting at all to get engrossed in this as much as I did, and I think the game itself runs nicely, but like I say, it needs that polish. There's a market for this, there's definitely a market for these kind of games, but at the same time, there's already a lot of things out there. I mean, I'm only saying Banished because that's the one I can remember off the top of my head, but there are a lot of games that do similar things to this, and the problem with that is that your competition is quite steep. So you've got this really nice element, you've got these graphics that could potentially be really nice if you worked a bit harder on some elements, and you've got something here. You've definitely got a foundation for a game. I think that's the thing that people tend to think I'm quite harsh about, is that I tend to come down quite harshly on certain games in regard to their mechanics and how they look. That's not the case at all. I think if I can tell you've put a bit of effort in and there is a bit of fun to be had, I think it's totally fine to have these teething issues with something, especially if it's in a very early state like this is. I just don't think it's okay if you've got like microtransactions and it's chock full of things like that, and there's also issues going on. This is nice though, generally really nice, really had a blast of it. Can't recommend it enough, to be honest. But anyway, that was Bastide, or Bastide, however you want to pronounce that. I'm sorry if I am mispronouncing that. But anyway, thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and hopefully I'll catch you again very soon.